While we continue to sustain our efforts on providing formal and conventional education through activities of the Universal Basic Education Commission under the Federal Ministry of Education, it is still common sight on children abandoning formal school to become apprentices in shops, workshops and markets, whilst many others choose Islamia and Quranic schools, while many choose to loiter at markets, become cart pushers and hawkers. This is not acceptable. In view of these vulnerable issues, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has been directed to coordinate and lead in the deployment of National Marshall Plan that can ensure a holistic and comprehensive inclusiveness of appropriate basic education on these children.
The alternate school program is an innovative initiative aimed to take limited basic education and humanitarian service to the children in non-formal education system and other unique environments as well in our communities. And this initiative requires that any location, for instance, Quranic school, market places, dump sites, mechanic villages, etc., can be used for the delivery of limited formal subjects. And the four basic subjects are mathematics, English, basic skills, and social studies, which can be taught in 2 hours within 30 minutes per subject time frame.
If the out-of-school children syndrome in Nigeria were a dish, the Northwest is well served. The sub-region possesses a rich montage of school-age children who are everywhere but in it. Evidently, the region does not require a stargazer to know that in the modern world, it is not good for the future. Nigeria generally receives global attention on account of its children out-of-school statistics. Even as the debate rages at home that the North has more of the burden, evidently, the South is no less burdened too. This may not be a bad press, however, for the region if it inspires a collective action to take on the challenge head-on. Perhaps the most poignant collective action yet is the acknowledgement that it exists, and to a disturbing reality, short of being a scandal. Indeed, the acknowledgement inspires efforts. Whether the efforts work at the same degree as the issue at hand is a matter different. Precisely, however, this is where I'm a fan of the federal drive to deliver an alternate school program ASP nationwide to counter the progressive wave of the out-of-school children syndrome. It is a national policy that takes a deliberate and careful study of all the indices that allow the syndrome of out-of-school children to pester and design high-tech fit-for-purpose systems that at once address the root cause of the issues at hand and stimulate learning. It is often given that where information is short, speculation is peddled as knowledge. Knowledge is where the alternate school program finds its power, and the will to see the population of out-of-school children dwindle geometrically.
The alternate school program is an innovation of Mr. President. The alternate school program is assigned to the Minister of Humanitarian. It's again another innovation. Traditionally, anywhere you hear schooling, it should have been education. But because of the volume of children, and it is children, it becomes a humanitarian and a disaster issue. That in itself is recognizing the difference, of not just education, but it's also about survival. It's not about quenching poverty. It is about fighting vulnerability, So again, the various layers of differences in the design and the deployment is well recognized.
The template designed to deliver alternate school program by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs cannot be more apt for the entire Northwest. I have collected real-life cases of the out-of-school children syndrome in 4 northwestern states of Kano, Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto. The authorities in those states paint pictures of why they have high numbers to contend with. It is like they share notes with the policy makers of the humanitarian affairs on the salient circumstances that produce them. They all have peculiarities, nuances, and outright differences.
The program, as it was conceived, brought in experts from diverse backgrounds and commissioned experts also with diverse sets of experience to go to the field, study all these differences and variabilities and bring them on board. So as these experiences are harnessed, the diversity is understood better and the peculiarities of each locality is plowed into the planning for such ASP that will be cited.
It will be a cardinal sin to suggest Kano has no high burden of out-of-school children. No, it has. Kano is a mega-sized metropolis and progressive. It is also the economic capital of the NTA North, with the patronages emanating across national borders with the Niger and Cameroon republics, the Chad, Benin and Central African republics. In that wise, it is a major destination for migrants across all its business satellites and beyond to seek economic fortunes. Migration does not help the state with the struggle with the out-of-school children. There is one nature with this migration. It is difficult to monitor pattern and size, and it never stops.
If you look at the metropolitan area, when I'm talking about metropolitan, we have 8 metropolitan local government that's within Kano city. So because of some factors that lead to urban-rural migration, and also being the most, I can say the safest place for most of the neighboring states, they used to migrate to Kano. So influx of people may likely lead to this. People from so many areas, they are trying to come to Kano. Compare with what we are having, the facilities, the schools.
If people don't have access to resources, and you show them easy access to resources, they blindfoldedly follow you. And that is how you gradually get people into this bad thing. And that is where, you remember once I told you how creative and how innovative this president is. President Buhari has thought of all this. He said, look, give poor households 5,000 naira under my conditional cash transfer, but digitize them. Make sure that these poor people, they have accounts too. Do whatever you can. And the minister answered that clarion call. Today, we are giving over, nearly 2 million households accessing the 5,000 naira conditional cash transfer. All of them have got accounts, they've got cards, and you see that inclusivity now lifts you to a level whereby it will minimize all these unnecessary movement. It will teach people how to save. It makes you feel like you are part of a bigger picture of modernity.
There are interesting values as well that heighten the score of out-of-school children in Kano. The state has the largest number of local governments of any state in Nigeria, with the 44. Its demography is no less big. In the 2 presidential elections in this country, for instance, Kano always provided the highest votes. If anything, it offers insight on the size of its population. It is a dynamic population with the varying economic titles. The economy of the people of Kano has influence on the number of out-of-school children they have.
Kano State is one of the largest states in Nigeria in terms of whatever. When you look at the size of the state, it having 44 local government, and in terms of population-wise, I think you can maybe only compare it with Lagos State. So in fact, whenever you talk of too many citizens or too many people in the state or in a particular community, you may expect some issues that you are talking about. So we can't say precisely, but from the records, as you mentioned, about 32%, according to the UNICEF.
The Kano city itself has many opportunities. Most of the markets, functional the trading and marketing is inside. And what do children, out-of-school children do? There are people who carry things for people to help them from one point to the other. They carry them on their heads. They are vending water. Population needs to drink water. Population needs vegetables. Population needs fruits. And once they are vending this and they're selling this, it's an opportunity for their limited life at that level.
The implementation of the alternate school program, ASP, in Metropolitan Kano especially, will not require long search for endemic areas. Every section is endemic, say perhaps some few sections of the reserved areas. You are confronted with hordes of out-of-school children as you especially navigate the inner city, the communities within the Kano walls, the ancestral settlement of the Kanawas. The out-of-school children in Kano are always in a continuous motion. Perhaps those in skilled and sedentary engagements may be an exception. There are peculiarities with this movement, and often it has to do with the finding livelihoods, begging, hawking, labor-intensive jobs, even for young boys and girls, especially carrying goods from point to point for pay. You also quite find collections around where food is sold in markets, motor parks, and sundry locations where people collect in large numbers. In Kano, the alternate school program will not miss these children. I think personally, the magnificence of alternate school program is in its presence of mind and power of thought as to understand the dynamics of the out-of-school children nationwide and align pertinent in-house humanitarian programs to bear in its execution, not to mention innovation that are target-specific with potentials for high impact.
Nigeria is trying to evolve a process for the world, a process for Africa, even for Asia, that it is possible with the quantum of educational facilities that are available in books, in simple communication materials, on the internet, digitally, and so on, to move all this material to children because the digital infrastructure is available. Now you don't need a class to actually establish a class. In some places, you don't even need a teacher to actually teach. The system will teach. So our research has demonstrated that the demeaning level of children existing in these places starts with sanitation. They are peeing all over the place. They are defecating all over the place. And therefore, it is absolutely necessary to make sure that we provide water and then toilet facilities to humanize these children up to a level so that every day they can shower at least once, they can drink clean water, and they can go to toilet, even if it is a VIP toilet, at least once or twice a day.
I have come across several graphics, harsh as they may be, that more than spoken words speak volumes of the danger ahead if the country fails to act fast on its out-of-school children. This boy has begged for food all day. He could not have enough for his hunger. Tired and hungry, he sleeps up in a pavement close to the main road in a busy area close to Kurmi Market. Needless to say, this is living dangerously. Hunger and absence of parental care can be cruel on children. It is for this boy. There are hundreds of children in Kano who are likewise. The alternate school program can be invaluable not only for their humanity, but also for their survival. There is this picture too of school-age children who find food squeezing their tender souls between vehicles or traffic lights to clean their glasses for a stipend, which so often is not guaranteed. Any misadventure here can end a boy's life. They don't care. All day long they stay in this precarious condition, seeing streams of vehicles park and move with the traffic lights. The point here is close to Kano Central Mosque. Children like these are guaranteed skills development, meals twice a day, and lessons in English, maths, and civic education under alternate school program of the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
As soon as you encounter a problem, it's meant to spur you into action. It's meant to stimulate you into resolving mode of the problem. So I see the solution, not the magnitude. Yes, the magnitude is big. Yes, if unattended, even the trend will continue to get worse. But with the efforts we have started, with the level of mobilization we're doing, the situation will not be that of 1 + 1 = 2.
One other image still had me thinking. We were putting a camera on a group of out-of-school children hawking on a major Kano street. They were not only confident in front of the camera. One of the boys was forward with a speech. His speech, the camera made a trade says, and I marveled at his talent, but he does not go to school. One of the tragedies of out-of-school children is that in many situations, Life-changing talents are never developed, never realized. Our boy here could make a good journalist. Definitely, the implementation of the alternate school program will give a head start to many talents who hitherto are missing out on their potential for lack of school. These snippets apart, Kano generally is one large parade of children out of school or not in school. Usually there is character to their presences. The traffic light is one.
There is no disputing that Kano is the home of out-of-school children. But then, if you want to trace them, they are area specific. Kano has over 100 traffic lights. And when you go there, you will find hundreds of children out of school there doing one thing or the other. Either hawking or begging or doing different kind of things like that.
The traffic lights in Kano are magnets for children out of school. It is attractive for hawking, for begging, and other activities that children who abandon classroom fancy to do. There is no traffic light in Kano that do not have them in frightening numbers. This one at Opera Pampo, close to Old BUK, is particularly notorious for its numbers. Again, the attraction is always the density of traffic. There is a brutal reality to life along these traffic lights for children. The job is relentless, lasting in many instances past 12 hours. The work environment is potentially dangerous too, and often the take-home does not match the stress and the risk at the work environment. It never hinders them though. We have been to several areas where traffic lights control high density of traffic in Kano, and the out-of-school children are always there. In particular situations, you find girls too, apparently hawking or leading a person with a disability. Usually around Kano City, heaps of refuse attract out-of-school children to scavenge. Not much of these dumps abound in the city center now, but some of the children know how to fix themselves. In the inner city, the Jakara area Moshu, are pictures of tens of out-of-school children hanging out with the petty traders or artisans on ad hoc basis to find food. In this picture, they hang out with the traders selling oranges. The area is noted for its overpopulation, so tens of traders peddle oranges along the road leading to Kulmi Market in Jakara. In fairness, the endemic areas for out-of-school children in Kano are not limited to locations in the inner city. In the entire scope of this extensive metropolis, you come across a plethora of these demographics. There are practical conditions that allow this to happen. Migration is one, not only for economic reasons, but for the demand of safety.
Kano is bordering with some states, like Kaduna, Katsina, one of the states that are having insurgencies. So because of that fear, agreed, some parents may not release their children to school. And some schools are also being paired off, being abdicated or abdicating their children. So these are some of the factors.
So there's migration into Kano. And then obviously the children may not have access to education as much as they
Yes, that's what I said from the beginning. Yes. And also we are neighboring with, now take an example. There is a local government which is bordering Kaduna and Katsina, one local government. And you know Katsina as a volatile, so you are expecting migrants from the area. So as they come, they are looking for facilities to allow their children to be part of the public schools especially. And so as long as you are accommodating or admitting more children, the facility may not necessarily be enough or sufficient to accommodate them.
One of the difficulties with migration for safety is that you never know all the statistics. But Kano has been a fertile destination for migration for safety, especially from the insurgency hitting of the east. There was this effort by Kano State government in which it brought 200 displaced children, all male, to a classroom designed to see them through science and technical education from primary to university. They have an entire school structure dedicated to their development and are not wanting in accommodation, feeding, health and education.
There is nothing to say but thank God. Everything where some of us don't know how to read and write. Now we know how to write and write, and everything is normal. We thank God.
And they teach you something you can do with your hand too?
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Can you do something with your hand?
Yes.
Like what?
Like creating ointment.
Pomade?
Yes.
We make a very good plan for the students, pertaining to because they are feeding their Islamic and Western educations. And the plan is not being just for their primary or secondary school level. It has gone even up to their university level. That's the plan. Okay. By the council government. Okay. So these boys are going to be groomed up to their graduation.
This is a model that works for the children, but it is a one-off. The school is not taking in more. There are no girls. And the open society of Kano sees more of IDPs arrive by the day, needing all the basic necessities of life they require, and with no idea of where to begin. Here lies the beauty of the alternate school program. It is iron cast for situations like this, especially with its capsule of humanitarian delicacies. The IDPs keep welling up in several communities in Kano, especially areas in the outskirts. There is no issue of out-of-school children in the north as credible as the Almajiri system. It is a major contributor to its out-of-school children's statistic. Like the IDPs, a major difficulty to policymakers is that they keep coming. In Kano State, an engaged system that seeks to bring the Almajiri schools into a programmed structure in which formal schooling is included has brought over 300,000 Almajiris into a settled classroom. There are over 15 schools for that. This is one of them in Kanwa, Madobe local government area. It has over 200 pupils and has provision for food, including water supply, accommodation and classrooms. It is an arrangement that has everybody satisfied, including the teachers of the Almajiris and the Almajiris themselves.
Rayuwa alhamdulillah daidai gurgudu yaran sun samu ta goma shi daga gwamnatin jihar Kano.
We can only be grateful. These children have the most ideal starts they may need for their life and education. Thanks to the efforts of Kano State government, it has their feeding taken care of, so are their day-to-day needs. In terms of Quranic education, we have 6 teachers here. There are 60 across the state. In the morning, we have formal schooling up till 2 p.m. By 4, the Islamic school takes over to 6 in the evening.
Dala.
Okay.
I was brought here from Bichi, where we had our Sangaya school. I clearly prefer the school we are now to the Sangaya school. In the Sangaya, you have to beg to eat. Here you have your food needs taken care of. In terms of the lessons, at Sangaya we used slates. Here we are given books. Then in this school there is Quranic education and there is Western education.
Daga Dal.
Dal?
Eh.
Dal wannan ta abin nan?
Ta Garko.
Ta Garko?
Eh.
Da ina kake almajirtaka taka?
A kusa da garinmu ne Sumaila.
Sumaila?
Eh.
I am from the village of Dal Garko local government area. I was brought here while I was at Sangaya school in Sumaila, all in Kano State.
Aka zaɓo ku?
Mu shida.
Ku shida. Yanzu kuna nan gaba ki ɗin ku?
Eh.
To yaya can rayuwar can ɗin da ta nan a yanzu wani kai kanka?
Ta nan gaskiya ta fi daɗi. Tunda nan za a ba ku hutu.
6 of us were brought here. Life here is wonderful. We even have provision for holidays. There is food enough. You don't need to beg to eat. And we have teachers for all subjects.
Malaman safe da na yamma ana sa.
There is nonetheless a sore issue with the Almajiri system generally. It keeps on coming. It is so huge and dynamic, certainly only a multidimensional approach and stand policies can address it. Again, the alternate school program ASP can influence a major change within systems to bring the Almajiri system within its frame of worldview.
Let government identify some areas that need this kind of attention. Because the moment government identify a place in a particular community that has no school, and we have so many children that need attention, and it happens there is no government school or public school or community school there, then if the government can come and establish this alternate school, most of the problem, I assure you, will be solved.
So this alternate school, you are welcome to go. As far as you start,
it's highly welcome. Not even in the metropolitan. Go to the countryside, the villages. I recently identified some villages that needs establishment of school. Like, we have some villages that I don't know before because of one reason or the other. In the olden days, people they don't want to send them to school because of one reason or the other. But now they have seen the importance of Western education, the establishment of women education in the area. Now they are looking for schools. And for the government now to attend to that kind of issue is not easy. So when such community is identified, the moment you introduce this, I know people will not come in. Yes.
That given, based on its economic and peaceful disposition, Kano will certainly be a beautiful bride for alternate school program. The rural areas of the north, it must be said, are most fitting for the alternate school program. I have been to some 3 rural communities of Katsina, including Dutsimma, Daura, and Musawa. The story there is that the out-of-school children is a function of parental ignorance and of apathy. In some situations, the schools are just either not there or are not enough. There are issues of distance too. Notwithstanding efforts of individual states to address their burden of out-of-school children, the alternate school program is fated to be the Midas touch needed for Nigeria to make it to the gate of heaven, as far as its burden of out-of-school children is concerned.